So Becky, because one of the reasons I want to do this podcast is to like draw attention to books that I'm excited about that are coming out. And you are the best librarian in the world. I thought it'd be cool if people listening to this would hear from your perspective, what can readers or fans of authors do to interact with their library to make sure that their libraries are getting books from the authors that they really care about?
Yeah, and I think that I want to talk to also, I want to talk to the people listening who are readers. I want to talk with this to the authors out there and to the publishers. So, like your podcast, which focuses on books that haven't come out yet, libraries function in a world at least 3 months before, at least. Okay, I would say more like six. When you work at a library and you order books for the collection, you are ordering books pre-pub. We are getting them far in advance. And when I am reviewing them, because I exclusively review for Library Journal and Book List, who are both targeted at library workers who are ordering the books, my target audience is telling them what they need to know to see if that book will fit their collection for the pre-pub. And they also use it then to hand sell the title to library patrons, right? So all of my reviews are only positive and they're written to the best reader. And because the goal is to tell libraries whether or not, this book is right for them, I'm going to give you the best scenario. So what people need to understand is I try so hard to incorporate small presses into especially my library journal column, because I plan that far in advance. So make sure if you're with a smaller press or you're an author who's independently working with a smaller press, you encourage early arcs to be available. I mean, I have read, for example, Sina Palayo, who's with the same publisher now as Zoya. I've read both her book that is coming out this year and the one that is going with Thomas and Mercer in Word documents, right? Before her editor gave the okay, because they are with smaller presses and it's harder, right, to get access to them. So you need to make sure you're reaching out to libraries about your book. So if you're a really small author, here's the best thing you can do. And then I'll tell if you're a reader. You can go into your local library with a copy of your book after it's out, because this is the one situation where you can do this. Most libraries these days have a local author section. So it used to be like, don't go to the library and tell them to buy your book or bring your book. They're just going to throw it out. They're not anymore, because local authors are something that people come to the library for. So you should go with copies. Be willing to donate them. I hate doing that. I am someone that argues for paying for your work. I mean, I only write reviews for paid sources because I'm not giving away my skills as a writer for free. But you're going to get on the shelf at the library. And studies show that library users buy books at a higher rate than non-library users. A local author collection, one, they love to have it. When you come in, offer to say, hey, I'm also willing to teach do you need kid writing workshops? Do you need programming of any kind? Whatever it is. And just say, thank you for having my book. But then here's the thing, right? Local author collections. Think about your local library. There's so many books, right? You don't know where to go. If you are a local author that no one's heard of and you just put it under your last name, it's going to die there. But if it's in the local author collection, that's something people go to. It's a smaller universe of books that patrons will go visit. There's a whole cadre of patrons who love the local author shelf. They love discovering an author. That being said, here's the trick. And I'm going to tell you about authors and readers. Libraries buy books by authors and prioritize who they're going to have based on circulation checkout. Okay? There is nothing stopping you from going in and checking out your book and returning it the next day and then telling your friend to check out the book. I'm not kidding. I tell this to authors all the time. We don't see who's checking them out. When you get that report for Weeding, how many times did it check out in the last year? That is why we keep a book or not. And if you're on the local author shelf and you get checkouts, they're going to put your name down to look for more books by you. They're going to call you and ask you for more copies. They might buy a copy then. Because here's the other trick. All libraries have some kind of ratio, holds to how many copies they buy. So at my library where I worked, it was 3. When 3 people were waiting for a book, it triggered us to get another copy so that people don't have to wait. Most libraries are doing about somewhere between 3 and 6. All right. Now, if you're a reader and you have an author you love, or you're Zoya's cousin and you live in California, I don't know if that's true, but let's just go with that. Anyone who lives in any community can go onto the website for their library and find the button that says suggest a purchase. Suggest a purchase is on every library website. You can go and suggest a purchase. Here's the trick, because I worked in collection development buying the books. If somebody who is a card holder who lives in your community, because in our select a purchase, we actually said, what's your card number, right? If you are a cardholder who lives in our community and uses the library and you suggest a book, unless it's racist, homophobic, like wrong, like if you request it, we're going to buy it because an actual user wants it. In fact, in that form, it usually says, would you like us to place a hold on it for you? We know we're guaranteeing a checkout. There are books we spend money on that nobody ever checks out, that get zero checkouts. Our cost benefit ratio, we're using taxpayer money, right? We really care about that cost benefit ratio. So if you're an author's relative in another town, or if you're the author in a town, just say, buy the book. Or if you're embarrassed, have some, like your partner do it or something, right? Get a library card. If you have a library card, go on suggest a purchase. Get the library will 9 times out of 10 buy that book. Then make sure you send people in to check it out again, to show that people are interested in it. Those records matter. That's how we build our collections. We don't know if you've read the book. We don't know if you've liked it, but we know if you checked it out. So those are my tips for everybody to help their favorite authors, to help themselves, and for publishers as well.